Even in today's world, there are locations that leave modern observers completely astonished. Monumental ancient constructions, enigmatic relics, and whole civilizations that once thrived spectacularly, only to disappear without leaving a trace. These are not myths or bedtime stories, but genuine enigmas documented by historians and archaeologists. From gigantic stone blocks that challenge modern machinery to move, to ancient urban centers now submerged beneath the sea, today we embark on an exploration of the unsolved mysteries of the ancient world, a realm where history itself sometimes defies all expectations. So get ready as we plunge into today's fascinating mystery. And before we begin, you'll bring yourself extraordinary luck by liking and subscribing before the end of this video. The tomb of Huang. Beneath the verdant hills of Shanxi province in China lies a site where history and legend have yet to reveal their deepest secrets. This is the tomb of Huang, the first emperor to unify all of China. For over 2 millennia, this monumental mausoleum has remained intact. Its protection comes not only from an army of formidable terracotta warriors but also from countless tales of hidden treasures, lethal traps, and mysteries that remain undisclosed. While the renowned terracotta army has been excavated and is celebrated as one of the world's greatest archaeological achievements, the tomb's central chamber, where the most powerful emperor in Chinese history rests, has never been explored. The entire tomb complex is situated near Xi'an and spans an enormous area of 56 square kilometers. Construction began when Huang was just 13 years old and only concluded after his death. Historical records indicate that over 700,000 workers were employed to build this tomb, a number far exceeding any other structure of the era. Surrounding the tomb are hundreds of burial pits, each containing clay soldiers, horses, and chariots. Every statue was crafted with incredible precision, each face and armor uniquely detailed, as though each figure had actually lived. The historian Sima Qian once described the tomb as a grand subterranean palace, a miniature representation of the emperor's entire empire. According to ancient chronicles, the tomb contains rivers of mercury designed to symbolize China's major rivers, intended to flow forever through the chambers. The ceilings were adorned with pearls to mimic a starry sky, and treasures, palaces, and even officials were interred to serve the emperor in the afterlife. Automated defenses such as crossbows rigged to strike intruders were installed to guard the tomb's secrets. Legend even claims that many of the craftsmen who built it were buried alive to ensure that its entrance remained unknown. Modern technology has confirmed that beneath the colossal mound lies an enigmatic structure, and soil tests reveal unusually high levels of mercury, aligning perfectly with Sima Qian's ancient records. Yet no archaeologist has dared to excavate further. The primary concern is that any attempt to enter now could irreversibly destroy what remains inside. When the terracotta army was first uncovered, the vibrant colors of the figures faded within minutes of exposure to the air. Furthermore, the mercury in the soil presents serious risks to human health and the environment, comparable to a massive chemical disaster if mishandled. Additionally, current preservation techniques for delicate materials like silk, ancient manuscripts, or other significant artifacts are not yet sufficiently advanced to manage a project of this scale. Beyond purely scientific concerns, profound spiritual and cultural beliefs also play a major role. In Chinese tradition, imperial tombs are viewed as sacred realms. To disturb them is considered a grave offense against the ancestors and against the nation's own historical legacy. The burial site of Huang is regarded as even more significant, as he embodies unity and absolute imperial authority. Not only ordinary citizens, but even state authorities treat the release of research data with extreme caution. Many believe that the tomb may conceal truths the world is simply not yet prepared to confront. Some daring theories even propose that it could contain ancient knowledge far surpassing modern comprehension, or perhaps evidence of a once advanced civilization and lost technologies. Today, millions of visitors arrive each year to witness the terracotta army with their own eyes. Yet the central burial mound, believed to be the true resting place of the emperor, remains untouched. A silent and immovable symbol of a past shrouded in power and enigma, the lost tomb of Genghis Khan. Beneath the vast skies and endless grasslands of Mongolia lies a mystery that has persisted for more than 8 centuries, one that no one has yet been able to solve. It is the concealed tomb of Genghis Khan, the ruler who built the most expansive empire in recorded history. Although he stands among the most legendary conquerors of all time, the location of his final resting place has left no trace behind. How could the grave of such a monumental figure disappear without a single clue? And does it truly contain the fabled wealth amassed from every corner of the Mongol Empire? Somewhere hidden within the rugged mountains and limitless steppes of northern Mongolia, the tomb of Genghis Khan continues to elude archaeologists, explorers, and treasure seekers alike. He passed away in 1227, yet even now, no one has been able to confirm where he was laid to rest. Unlike iconic burial sites such as the terracotta army of Huang or the Egyptian pyramids, Genghis Khan's tomb has left absolutely no visible trace on the surface. Legend claims he personally ordered that his burial remain forever unknown, leaving nothing behind for future generations to discover. Even the secret history of the Mongols, the oldest existing chronicle of Mongol history, records only the year of his death, offering no information at all about the place of his burial. Marco Polo, who lived during the reign of Genghis Khan's grandson, even wrote that the Mongol people themselves had no knowledge of where the tomb was located. According to ancient folktales, after Genghis Khan passed away during a military campaign in northern China, his remains were secretly transported back to Mongolia. To ensure the burial site would remain forever unknown, it is said that the escorting soldiers killed every person they encountered along the return journey. Some accounts go even further, claiming that as many as 2,000 attendees of the funeral were executed, and the executioners themselves were later eliminated so that the secret could never be revealed. 1,000 horses were then driven across the burial site to erase all traces of disturbance. Other versions describe rivers being redirected to flood the area, or forests being planted to conceal the land entirely. One particularly haunting legend speaks of a young camel buried beside the emperor, and how, for years afterward, the mother camel returned to the hidden grave, its mourning cry guiding the descendants to their ancestors' resting place. Yet to this very day, no historical record has ever disclosed the tomb's true location. For decades, countless theories have circulated regarding where Genghis Khan was finally laid to rest. Most historians believe the tomb lies somewhere around Burkhan Khaldun, the sacred mountain where he was born and where he once prayed before uniting the Mongol tribes. Modern archaeologists have deployed drones and advanced imaging technology in search of any anomaly, but every expedition has been halted by local inhabitants who consider the land holy and refuse to allow it to be disturbed. Some even launched satellite-based crowd research projects involving tens of thousands of volunteers analyzing imagery, yet all findings remain inconclusive theories. The mystery surrounding Genghis Khan's tomb extends far beyond its physical location. It is widely believed that, if it were ever uncovered, the site could contain immense treasures and invaluable artifacts gathered from across the vast Mongol Empire, stretching from China to Persia. Legends speak of guardian spirits, lethal curses, and inexplicable accidents that have plagued those who attempted to uncover the tomb. But for the Mongolian people, what matters above all is the reverence owed to their national hero. Genghis Khan was not only a conqueror, he established religious tolerance, a postal network, and even an early form of paper currency. They believe his final wishes must be respected, and any intrusion would be a profound insult to their ancestors. Even in the age of modern technology, the Khenti region remains a wild, remote, almost unreachable wilderness, and the tomb of Genghis Khan continues to lie beyond humanity's reach. Should this ancient mystery ever be solved, the discovery would rival the unearthing of the terracotta army or the recovery of long-lost sacred scrolls. Yet perhaps the tomb will forever remain legend, safeguarded by the boundless steppe, the whispering rivers, and the phantom echoes of horses galloping eternally through time. The Giant of Castelnau. In the winter of 1890, in the small French village of Castelnau, anthropologist Georges Vacher de la Pouge reportedly uncovered 3 enormous bone fragments within a Bronze Age burial mound. These remains appeared to belong to a human who stood more than 11 feet tall, stature far beyond anything considered normal for our species. Was this truly proof that a race of giants once walked the earth, or merely an extraordinary error of nature? When Vacher de la Pouge began excavations at Castelnau, he could not have imagined discovering three astonishing bones, part of a femur, a section of a tibia, and what seemed to be a fragment of an arm bone. Measurements published in the scientific journal La Nature in 1890 stated that these bones were nearly double the size of modern human equivalents. The femur segment measured approximately 14 cm across with a circumference of 16 cm, while the tibia portion reached 26 cm in length, and in the arm fragment was strikingly massive. Based on these proportions, Lapouge estimated that the individual would have stood about 3.5 meters tall and weighed several hundred kilograms. He insisted firmly that the fragments were unquestionably human despite their colossal proportions. The remains were eventually sent to the University of Montpellier for expert evaluation. Leading scholars in zoology, paleontology, and anatomy concluded that the bones indeed appeared to originate from extremely large humans, though they also acknowledged the possibility of pathological gigantism. Only a few years later, additional reports emerged. Giant skulls and large bone fragments were found near the village of Montpellier, believed to belong to people measuring between 10 and 15 feet in height. These remains were forwarded to the French Academy of Sciences, but soon afterward, they mysteriously vanished, leaving modern researchers with no trail to follow. The Castelnau mystery only deepened, prompting contemporary scholars to re-examine the origins and authenticity of these extraordinary bones. In 2022, anthropologist Catherine Harkins suggested that the remains might have simply belonged to a massive, prehistoric bear once native to ancient Europe. During the 19th century, it was fairly common for oversized animal bones to be misidentified as human, especially at a time when anatomical science was still developing. Yet this raises a puzzling question. If the bones were animal remains, why did the University of Montpellier's experts at the time insist they were human, and why to this day has no modern investigation ever reanalyzed these fragments? The mystery of the Giant of Castelnau is not merely an archaeological puzzle, it leads directly into the realm of myth and folklore. From the Cyclops of ancient Greece to the Nephilim mentioned in the Bible, nearly every civilization across history has preserved stories of giants walking the earth. To this day, residents of Castelnau still speak of a cave where a giant was once believed to dwell. 19th century newspapers speculated that Vacher de la Pouge's discovery might finally provide tangible evidence for such ancient legends. Some even theorized that the bones could be remnants of a forgotten civilization, or perhaps something not of this world, though no scientific proof has ever supported such claims. However, archaeology is no stranger to exaggerations and deliberate fraud, often fueled by religious agendas or financial gain. The infamous Cardiff giant, carved stone figure buried in 1869 to deceive the American public, is a prime example. Yet in the Castelnau case, the fact that leading experts in Montpellier personally examined and validated the bones in 1890 makes the hoax explanation far more difficult to accept. And now, the very bones that once stunned the scientific community have completely vanished from all archives, their location unknown, never re-examined with modern technology. The question of who or what on the Giant of Castelnau truly was remains unanswered. If such a colossal human once existed, why has no additional evidence surfaced from this archaeologically rich region? And if it is nothing but legend, why has the story survived so powerfully and still challenging human curiosity to this very day? Hidden deep beneath the emerald rice fields of Longyou County in Zhejiang Province, China, lies one of the most baffling archaeological enigmas ever encountered, the Longyou Caves complex. Its discovery began entirely by accident in the summer of 1992, when a local farmer drained the water from what appeared to be a natural pond near his home. Unbeknownst to him, beneath the calm surface lay a vast man-made cavern, its walls perfectly smooth, covered with immaculate parallel carvings that looked as though they had been cut by industrial machinery. The astonishment spread quickly through the village. The locals proceeded to drain water from nearby pits, revealing an entire subterranean network of more than 20 interconnected chambers. The scale and precision of Longyou defy every conventional explanation. Each cave rises over 30 meters high, its interior flawlessly sculpted. Domed ceilings, structural pillars, and walls are carved with uniform wave-like patterns, etched continuously from ceiling to floor, as if executed under meticulous engineering command. No human remains, no tools, no signs of habitation or construction, nothing left behind. Who carved the Longyou Caves? Based on geological erosion and the stone's aging, archaeologists estimate the site to be more than 2,000 years old, likely dating from the Qin or early Han Dynasty, yet not a single ancient Chinese historical record makes any mention of its existence. How could a megastructure of such immensity be erased completely from history? Many hypotheses have surfaced. Ancient military bunkers, imperial granaries, ceremonial sanctuaries, or even royal tombs lost to time. Some Western researchers propose it may have been a sacred ritual site. Most striking of all, the identical carving technique in every single chamber suggests a project carried out under unified direction by a level of organization and technology far exceeding anything expected of known ancient civilizations. Could this be the legacy of an unknown culture, one whose engineering skills have vanished without a trace? Today, the Longyou Caves remain silent beneath the farmland, a monument to the ingenuity, mystery, and forgotten power of ancient humanity. Until deeper truths emerge, Longyou stands as a reminder that vast chapters of human history still lie unwritten, and that the past may hold wonders far beyond our present understanding. The megaliths of Baalbek. Deep within Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, once a vital crossroads of ancient civilizations, stands the ruins of Baalbek, home to one of humanity's most staggering architectural mysteries. At first glance, one might simply see the remains of a Roman temple complex. But hidden within its foundations lie stone blocks of unimaginable size, stones so massive they surpass the capabilities of even today's most advanced machinery. At the core of this enigma are the legendary trilithon stones, 3 monolithic blocks measuring nearly 20 meters in length, over 4 meters in height, and weighing between 750 and 800 tons each. To grasp this scale, each individual stone is approximately the size of a modern commercial airplane. These colossal blocks form the base of the Roman Temple of Jupiter, built in the 1st century AD. Yet the technology of Rome, even at its peak, should have been incapable of moving stones anywhere near this magnitude. And yet, even larger stones exist nearby. At the ancient quarry just outside Baalbek, researchers have found the stone of the pregnant woman, weighing nearly 1,000 tons. Another block weighs 1,242 tons. And in 2014, archaeologists uncovered an even larger monolith, a staggering 1,650 tons, the largest known stone ever carved by human hands. Strikingly, all of these blocks remain in the quarry as never transported, prompting a haunting question. Were they meant to be moved at all? Or was something or someone interrupted? Countless theories attempt to explain Baalbek. Some argue that the Romans used wooden rollers and massive dirt ramps to haul the stones. But that idea collapses quickly. Roman cranes could only lift around 60 to 100 tons at best. No record exists of a system capable of coordinating weights many times greater. This has led many scholars to propose that the foundation is far older than the Romans themselves, perhaps built by an advanced pre-Roman civilization whose engineering knowledge has vanished from history. The similarities between Baalbek, the megalithic walls of Sacsayhuaman in Peru, and the Egyptian pyramids have fueled speculation that ancient humanity may once have wielded technologies lost to time. Despite decades of research, not a single ancient text reveals how Baalbek was constructed. No tools have been found, no instructions. Only the silent stones remain, impervious to time, daring us to explain the impossible. The Devil's Bible and Codex Gigas. Within the vaults of Sweden's National Library lies one of the most mysterious manuscripts ever created, the Codex Gigas, better known as the Devil's Bible. This enormous volume is the largest surviving medieval manuscript known to exist. It weighs nearly 75 kilograms and measures an astonishing 92 centimeters tall, 50 centimeters wide, and 22 centimeters thick, so large that a single adult must use both arms just to carry it. Experts estimate that producing its hundreds of Parchment pages would have required the skins of an entire herd of calves. But what makes the Codex Gigas truly infamous is not its size, but the ominous legends that have followed it for centuries. According to medieval lore, the manuscript was written in the 13th century by a Benedictine monk in Bohemia, modern-day Czech Republic. This monk, having committed an unforgivable sin, was sentenced to be sealed alive within the walls of the monastery, not a punishment feared, even more than death. In desperation, he begged for one final chance at redemption, promising that if granted a single night, he would create a manuscript containing all human knowledge, scripture, history, medicine, astrology, and forbidden magic. Knowing this was impossible, he is said to have made a pact with the devil. According to legend, Satan himself appeared and finished the manuscript in one night, in exchange for the monk's soul. In eternal tribute, the monk painted a towering portrait of the devil in the very heart of the book, a monstrous and unparalleled depiction, unlike anything found in any holy manuscript on earth. Of course, this is myth. Historical scholars have determined that the Codex Gigas was indeed produced in the early 13th century, likely at the Podlages monastery, and astoundingly, appears to have been written entirely in the same precise handwriting across all 620 pages, perhaps by a single scribe over many years. Its contents include not only the full Latin Bible, but also extensive works on history, medicine, magic, astrology, and catalogs of demons and rituals. Most chilling of all is the massive full-page illustration of Satan, complete with staring eyes, protruding tongue, and clawed hands, unmatched in its graphic intensity. Over the centuries, the Devil's Bible has been at the center of war, theft, and disaster. It was seized by Swedish forces during the 30 Years' War and taken to Stockholm in 1648, where it remains today. Countless legends claim that wherever the Codex Gigas goes, calamity follows, plagues, battles, even the downfall of dynasties. Even now, scholars, theologians, and mystery seekers from across the globe continue to study it. And until every hidden layer of the Codex Gigas is understood, it will remain a symbol of humanity's endless hunger to unveil secrets that perhaps were never meant to be known. Göbekli Tepe, buried beneath the parched soil and rocky hills of Turkey's Anatolian plateau, Göbekli Tepe remained forgotten by the world, until 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt began excavating the site. No one could have foreseen that he was about to upend everything we thought we knew about the origins of civilization, for what emerged from the earth astonished the world. Deep beneath the surface were vast circular arrangements of towering limestone pillars, and some rising up to 6 meters, tall and weighing many tons each. Even more shocking than their size was their age. Göbekli Tepe is more than 11,000 years old, older than the invention of the wheel, older than agriculture, older than metalworking, older even than the pyramids or Stonehenge. Each T-shaped monolith is adorned with intricate carvings: lions, bulls, foxes, snakes, birds, scorpions, and mysterious abstract symbols, each one a silent story of the beliefs, fears, and cosmology of the forgotten builders. But here lies the greatest mystery of all. Göbekli Tepe is believed to have been built by hunter-gatherers, nomadic societies, long assumed to lack the organization to build monumental architecture. This single discovery has forced scientists to reconsider everything, that perhaps religion and belief came first, and only then civilization followed. Even stranger, around 8000 BC, the builders intentionally buried the site, as if determined to seal it away forever. It is this very act that preserved it nearly perfectly for over 10,000 years. Today, as the ancient stones of Göbekli Tepe are revealed to the world, they do more than shatter our previous understanding of history. They present questions far deeper than any yet answered. Is it possible that the story of humanity stretches far deeper and is far more intricate than we have ever dared to consider? And just how many hidden truths still lie buried beneath the ground, patiently waiting to be unearthed? The White Pyramid of China, concealed under layers of time and ancient dust in China's Shaanxi province, the so-called White Pyramid stands as one of the most perplexing mysteries modern archaeology has ever encountered. The accounts surrounding it are not simply myths. They represent the very embodiment of humanity's unending desire to explore, as well as our lingering frustration when faced with mysteries that refuse to reveal their secrets. In 1945, American aviator James Gaussman, while on a transport mission flying over the remote northwestern mountain regions of China, reported witnessing an enormous pyramid-like structure towering in the valley below, and its four sides shining white in a brilliance that seemed almost unbelievable. Then in 1947, another pilot, Maurice Shahan, corroborated Gaussman's sighting and even succeeded in capturing several grainy, black and white photographs of this enigmatic monument. When these reports and images reached the Western world, they ignited widespread excitement among archaeologists and quickly became a hot topic in global media. However, as the war concluded, China's borders slowly tightened to outside researchers. The region believed to contain the White Pyramid was placed under strict governmental restriction only. A very limited number of Chinese researchers were granted access to investigate, and official statements declared the formations to be nothing more than earthen burial mounds constructed for ancient emperors during the Qin and Tang dynasties. Authorities firmly denied the existence of any massive white pyramid matching the extraordinary descriptions given by the American pilots. Yet despite these denials, in more recent years, satellite imagery published by both Western and Russian agencies has revealed multiple pyramid-shaped structures dispersed throughout the Shaanxi region, some reportedly standing between 50 and over 100 meters in height, surpassing even the scale of Egypt's pyramids. A striking detail often repeated in local lore is the story of its radiant white exterior. Traditions from the region recount that the pyramid was once coated in a layer of pure white limestone or clay, a surface so luminous that it reflected sunlight and stood out brilliantly against the otherwise gray tones of the surrounding mountain landscape. Several Western researchers have even compared it to Egypt's Great Pyramid of Giza, claiming that the White Pyramid's supposed height of nearly 300 meters and a base perimeter exceeding 450 meters would have exceeded the grandeur of Egypt's most famous monuments. But who could have built such an enormous structure? And to what end was it constructed? The theories surrounding the White Pyramid are just as vast and enigmatic as the monument itself. Some archaeologists maintain it was simply an imperial burial mound, erected to showcase the sheer power of Chinese emperors. However, those captivated by the unknown propose that it may be the surviving remnant of an ancient, long-lost civilization, one that predates all recorded Chinese history. More unconventional theories go even further, suggesting that the White Pyramid may once have served as a sacred, religious site or perhaps as an astronomical observatory, similar to those constructed by the Maya supporters of this idea often highlight the intriguing fact that many pyramidal structures in the Shaanxi region appear to align with particular constellations, a pattern reminiscent of the layout of the Egyptian pyramids. Some even speculate about extraterrestrial connections, a concept as captivating as it is entirely without scientific proof. Yet all these theories face an undeniable obstacle. To this very day, no one outside of the Chinese archaeological establishment has been granted full permission to excavate or comprehensively study these pyramids. Many of the ancient tombs in the area have been intentionally left untouched, in part due to long-held Chinese beliefs that the resting place of an emperor must never be disturbed, for to do so could invite misfortune. This taboo only intensifies the mystique of the White Pyramid, transforming it into a symbol of forbidden knowledge and a place where the line between fact and legend remains firmly intact. In modern times, satellite imagery and secret expeditions have only amplified the mystery, drawing even more fascination to the White Pyramid. It is not merely a forgotten marvel, and it stands as a direct challenge to those who seek to peel back the hidden layers of human history. Could it be that beneath its burial of soil and stone rests an unwritten chapter of civilization itself? And will a day ever come when the sealed gateway is finally opened, revealing to the world the true majesty of what once rose above the banks of the Yellow River, the Black Sarcophagus of Alexandria? Among all archaeological discoveries made in Egypt in the 21st century, nothing stirred global excitement, quite like the discovery of the mysterious black sarcophagus in the summer of 2018. It all began at a seemingly unremarkable construction site on Al-Karmili Street in Alexandria, a city once celebrated as the intellectual, cultural, and political capital of the ancient Mediterranean world. As workers excavated the ground to lay the foundation for a new building, they unexpectedly came across a massive block of stone buried deep beneath the earth. Archaeologists were immediately called to the location. After removing nearly 5 meters of debris and compacted soil, the team uncovered a colossal rectangular sarcophagus carved entirely from black granite, approximately 2.7 meters long, 1.5 meters wide, more than 1.8 meters tall, and weighing close to 30 tons. It was larger than almost any coffin ever discovered in Alexandria, and even one of the largest in all of Egypt. Beside it lay an alabaster bust, its facial features worn beyond recognition by the passage of time, making the identity of the person entombed an even greater mystery. Typically, the burial containers of nobility or royalty are decorated with hieroglyphic texts, engraved symbols or paintings that reveal names, titles, or personal histories. Yet this sarcophagus was entirely unmarked, completely plain except for a now eroded plaster seal. Its anonymity sparked intense speculation. Was this the hidden burial of a powerful figure, or someone whose identity was deliberately erased from history? Rumors began erupting almost instantly. Some whispered that this might be the long-lost grave of Alexander the Great, the legendary founder of Alexandria, whose body has been missing for more than 2,000 years. Others wondered whether it carried an ancient curse like the infamous tales of Egyptian tombs since Howard Carter uncovered Tutankhamun. Public curiosity reached its peak in July 2018, when experts made the decision to unseal the sarcophagus due to its sheer size, weight, and depth underground. The process required advanced lifting machinery and strict safety precautions to prevent exposure to any toxic gases or hazardous biological material. When the lid was finally lifted, everyone held their breath. Inside, there was no fully preserved mummy, nor any treasure. Instead, a disgusting, overpowering odor filled the chamber, the result of filthy water that had leaked inside over thousands of years, mixing with decaying human remains to form a thick reddish-brown liquid. Absurd theories exploded online, with some people bizarrely requesting permission to drink the sarcophagus liquid in hopes of gaining mystical powers and prompting Egyptian authorities to issue immediate health warnings. Forensic examination revealed 3 skeletons, stacked on top of one another, 2 male and 1 female. There were no signs of royal burial, no gold, no inscriptions, no funerary artifacts. One skull showed clear trauma, likely indicating death through violence or battle. Further analysis of bone structure, teeth, and carbon dating placed the remains around the 4th century BC, early Ptolemaic era, a time when Alexandria was among the most powerful and flourishing cities on Earth. What baffled researchers was this: why would such an extremely costly, massive black granite sarcophagus, transported all the way from Aswan in southern Egypt, be used for 3 seemingly ordinary individuals, buried without ceremony or inscription? Some scholars proposed they might have been members of a now-forgotten elite family, or soldiers killed during political chaos, or even high-ranking officials erased from history intentionally. Others speculate a religious prohibition or damnatio memoriae, condemnation of memory, might have led to their names being wiped from existence. One thing was certain: using black granite, an incredibly rare and expensive material, requiring monumental effort to move across hundreds of miles, was no ordinary burial choice. Yet its true purpose remains unexplained. The discovery of the black sarcophagus is more than an archaeological event. It is a powerful reminder that history deliberately hides its most astonishing stories. In the heart of a city once called the Jewel of the East, it testifies that even after thousands of tombs have been opened, Egypt still guards untold secrets beneath its soil. The Piri Reis map, in the midst of the Mediterranean world of the 16th century, a quiet yet staggering enigma appeared inked onto an old piece of parchment by a Turkish cartographer. It was the Piri Reis map, and a mysterious historical artifact that defies logic and challenges everything we believe we know. about our modern world. Created in the year 1513 by the Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis, this extraordinary map has left scholars and researchers astonished for centuries, not merely for its precision, but for its inclusion of details that appear far beyond the technological and scientific capabilities of the medieval era. Only 1/3 of the original Piri Reis map survives today. And yet, even that remaining fragment alone is enough to keep historians from both the East and the West endlessly perplexed. On this map, we can clearly see the western coastline of Africa, the eastern edge of South America, and, at most astonishing of all, the northernmost portion of Antarctica, a landmass that would not be officially discovered by modern explorers for another 300 years. What makes it even more baffling are the features showing Antarctica without ice, as though it had been charted long before the onset of the last ice age. The mystery deepens with Piri Reis's own recorded notes. He claimed that his map was compiled from more than 20 ancient charts originating from the Greek and Roman eras, and even some believed to be from the time of Columbus. Yet none of those known maps can possibly account for the stunning accuracy of the coastlines, nor the depiction of Antarctica as it would have looked before it was entombed in ice. Countless theories have been proposed to unravel this enigma. Some researchers argue that Piri Reis inherited knowledge from a long-forgotten ancient civilization, perhaps even the legendary Atlantis, a culture that may have possessed navigation and surveying abilities far beyond anything we associate with their time. Others insist the map is simply a composite, a product of exaggerated tales, seafaring myths, and distorted memories passed down by generations of sailors. But the truth remains unsolved. The Piri Reis map is more than just an ancient relic. It is a mirror reflecting the limits of human understanding. How could a 16th century Ottoman navigator draw coastlines with such breathtaking precision at a time when exploration, tools, and geographic knowledge were still remarkably primitive? Did a prehistoric civilization truly exist before us? Or is this all nothing more than a staggering coincidence of history? Even today, the Piri Reis map rests quietly within the Topkapi Palace Museum in Istanbul, a silent challenge left behind for future generations. It is not merely a testament to the courage of those who braved uncharted seas, but also a powerful symbol of human curiosity, our relentless hunger to explore, and the countless mysteries we have yet to uncover. The story of the Clovis people began in the 1930s, when archaeologists uncovered remarkably advanced stone spear points at an excavation site near Clovis, New Mexico. These meticulously crafted weapons were determined to be approximately 13,000 years old, clear evidence of a highly skilled and enigmatic hunting culture that once thrived in North America. The Clovis are considered masters of stone tool technology. Their weapon-making techniques were so sophisticated that even modern experts continue to study and learn from them. They survived by hunting massive prehistoric creatures that no longer exist. Today, mammoths, North American camels, and gigantic deer using precision tools to endure the harsh and unforgiving conditions at the end of the last ice age. But then, without warning, the Clovis culture vanished from the archaeological record and disappearing entirely in the span of just a few hundred years. To this day, scientists fiercely debate the true reason behind their sudden disappearance. One major theory proposes that dramatic climate change at the end of the Ice Age, with rapidly rising temperatures and transformed ecosystems, led to the extinction of the large animals the Clovis relied upon, and consequently to the downfall of the Clovis themselves. Another theory suggests a cataclysmic meteor impact and is supported by traces of cosmic glass, carbon dust, and evidence of widespread ancient wildfires found at sites dating to the same era. Was it a sudden cosmic disaster that erased this culture, or did the Clovis simply migrate into new lands, leaving no clear trace behind? The mystery of the Clovis people is not merely an American enigma. It is a chapter of human history that belongs to all of us, a sobering reminder of how fragile even the most advanced civilizations can be, how they may rise with brilliance, yet vanish without warning under the forces of nature. Their disappearance stands as a warning that even a flourishing civilization can be erased leaving behind only fragments for future generations to interpret and wonder over. Today, as archaeologists continue to unearth new sites and analyze every grain of ancient soil and stone, the legacy of the Clovis people remains an endless source of fascination, inspiring scientists, storytellers, and all who are drawn to the mysteries of our human past. It compels us to confront profound questions about existence and the inevitable downfall that every civilization throughout history must eventually face. The Huang Codex. Hidden deep within the archives of a small Hungarian library lies a peculiar manuscript that has baffled scholars for nearly 2 centuries. This is the Huang Codex, a mysterious book that even today, no one on Earth has been able to read or definitively interpret. The manuscript was discovered in the early 19th century in the town of Rohank. Its coarse, time-worn pages, over 400 in total, are filled with symbols, unlike any script known to humanity. The text consists of thousands of unique characters, none of which match any established alphabet or ancient writing system. Adding further mystery, the Huang Codex contains more than 80 intriguing illustrations, depicting scenes of daily life, religious ceremonies, battles, and figures rich with spiritual symbolism. Some images resemble Christian iconography, yet they are strangely blended with elements of Islamic and pagan traditions, making its origins even more perplexing. Who authored this enigmatic manuscript? Why create an entirely unknown writing system? And what message was it meant to preserve for the future? Across the decades, countless theories have emerged. Some researchers argue it may be a prayer book of a secret European religious sect, or a hidden chronicle of an ancient, spiritual community protecting its sacred knowledge from outsiders. Others, especially modern skeptics, believe it might be an elaborate 19th century hoax designed to challenge and confound the greatest minds of its time. Regardless of its true nature, the Huang Codex has never surrendered its secrets. Teams of linguists, historians, and cryptographers have attacked its mysteries from every angle, employing not only classical translation methods but also the most advanced digital decoding technologies. Yet to this day, not a single line has been conclusively understood. The writing within this manuscript continues to stretch the limits of human imagination in the modern age, and where technology has allowed us to decipher countless ancient writings, from extinct languages to secret inscriptions. Buried deep inside the Egyptian pyramids, the Huang Codex still stands as a mystery that science has not yet unraveled. Much like the greatest historical enigmas known to humanity, this manuscript serves as a reminder that no matter how advanced our civilization becomes, there will always remain regions of the world that offer no answers. Stone spheres of Costa Rica, hidden among the dense emerald jungles, and wide southern plains of Costa Rica lie hundreds of peculiar stone spheres, positioned like silent guardians of a once great civilization that has faded from the records of time. These stone creations, referred to as Las Bolas or the Dikis spheres, have baffled archaeologists for nearly 100 years. Their discovery dates back to the 1930s, when workers were clearing land to grow bananas for the United Fruit Company. To the workers' amazement, stone globes of various sizes began emerging from the soil. Some were no larger than a volleyball, while others exceeded 2 meters in diameter and weighed up to 16 tons. They were shaped from granodiorite, an exceptionally hard type of stone, crafted with such precision and perfection that even modern technology struggles to match their flawless spherical form and smooth finish. Although findings at multiple excavation sites suggest these spheres may have originated sometime between 600 AD and the 16th century, there is not a single ancient document that explains how they were made or what purpose they served. Experts believe these spheres belong to the Dikis culture, a once thriving civilization that vanished entirely before the arrival of the Spanish, leaving no written history behind. Numerous theories have been suggested to explain their existence. Some argue that the spheres symbolized cosmic forces or celestial power, possibly arranged in alignment with constellations to act as an ancient astronomical calendar. Others suggest they may have functioned as territorial markers or played a role in religious rituals. Recent archaeological findings indicate that, in certain settlements, The spheres were positioned in front of the homes of wealthy leaders or tribal chiefs, possibly as representations of rank or authority. Yet despite all these theories, every explanation remains purely speculative, as the people who crafted these spheres left behind no written records or ancient documentation of any kind. Tragically, over the course of time, modern humans have inflicted significant damage upon these artifacts. During the 20th century, countless spheres were relocated to private gardens, public parks, and in many unfortunate cases, destroyed entirely by treasure seekers who believed local legends claiming that gold was hidden inside them. It is only in recent decades that both the Costa Rican government and UNESCO have come to acknowledge the profound world heritage significance of these spheres, leading to more dedicated initiatives aimed at preserving and studying them. Today, the stone spheres of Costa Rica stand not only as physical proof of a lost ancient civilization, but also as a powerful symbol of the patience, meticulous craftsmanship, and limitless creativity of the people of the past. They raise profound questions for both scholars and dreamers alike. How could a society with no metal tools, and not even the invention of the wheel, manage to carve and transport such enormous stones with such flawless precision? Were these spheres merely artistic creations, or do they encode a message meant for future generations, one that we have yet to decipher? The lost civilization of Doggerland. Picture a distant era roughly 10,000 years ago, when the North Sea was not a vast body of water, but instead a lush and fertile land. This long-forgotten place was known as Doggerland, a vanished world that once connected England to mainland Europe. It was so idyllic that many have compared it to the legendary Atlantis of Europe. Then disaster struck. As sea levels began to rise and a catastrophic tsunami swept across the region, Doggerland was swallowed entirely by the ocean, leaving behind nothing but faint traces buried beneath the sea floor. In its prime, Doggerland stretched from what is now Scotland all the way to the Netherlands, a sprawling landscape of green fields, winding rivers, dense forests, and swampy wetlands. The land was named after Doggerbank, a sandy elevation beneath the North Sea. This once thriving territory was a sanctuary for Mesolithic hunter-gatherers who hunted mammoths, reindeer, and red deer, fished in lakes, and collected berries and nuts to survive. But what ultimately doomed this breathtaking land? As the last ice age ended around 10,000 BC, melting glaciers caused the sea to steadily rise, slowly flooding the low-lying regions of Doggerland. Then, around 8,200 years ago, a massive tsunami, caused by the Storegga submarine landslide off the coast of Norway, delivered the final blow, submerging Doggerland beneath the sea forever. Certain scholars propose that the northernmost portions of Doggerland might have endured for several additional centuries, shielded by elevated terrain and woodland. Yet by approximately 5500 BC, the North Sea had engulfed every last piece of exposed land. The enigma of Doggerland has long fascinated both scientists and imaginative visionaries. Could this drowned territory have been the Atlantis referenced by the philosopher Plato? Though the notion is debated, Doggerland's sprawling lowlands closely resemble descriptions found in tales of an ancient lost society. Some interpret Doggerland instead as a cautionary symbol, revealing nature's immense force and the dangers posed by a shifting climate. Numerous artifacts, mammoth tusks, worked flint, even preserved human footprints, have been dredged from the seafloor. Each discovery resembles a faint flicker from a vanished world. In 2019, a submerged woodland was located in this region, igniting renewed optimism about uncovering settlements entombed in the silt. Nevertheless, despite the many findings, no indisputable remains of Doggerland's communities or urban centers have yet surfaced. For generations, Doggerland faded from memory. Known only when 19th century fishermen began retrieving bewildering relics from the water. In the present day, archaeologists rely on seismic information from petroleum surveys to reconstruct this ancient landscape, while hobbyists comb Dutch shores for fossils and ancient tools. But with every revelation, fresh uncertainties emerge. Was Doggerland simply a land corridor, or could it once have been a significant hub of culture and trade in Neolithic Europe? And what warning does its vanishing impart as modern coastlines confront rising seas? The saga of Doggerland is more than a tale of a drowned territory. It stands as a spectral reminder of how vulnerable Humanity is before natural forces, and as an invitation to uncover the secrets still buried beneath the North Sea, over 3,500 years ago, amid the blazing red granite quarries near the Nile at Aswan, the ancient Egyptians launched an audacious project to carve an enormous obelisk, unlike any monument ever erected. Yet before this grand work could be realized, an unexplained fracture halted progress, leaving the unfinished monolith abandoned in the quarry where it remains even now. How were ancient builders able to sculpt a stone of such colossal size using only rudimentary tools? And what compelled them to leave this monumental work unfinished? Found in the northern Aswan quarry roughly 2 kilometers from the city center, the unfinished obelisk stands as a trace of astounding human ambition. Scholars believe it was ordered by Queen Hatshepsut during the 18th dynasty, intended for installation at the Karnak temple. Had it been completed, the monument would have risen to 4,175 meters in height, nearly double the size of the typical Karnak obelisks, and weighed an estimated 1,200 tons, roughly the mass of 200 African elephants. It was carved directly from the renowned Aswan red granite, a stone known for its extreme hardness. 3 of its sides were already brought to completion, bearing remarkably smooth and sharply defined surfaces. What makes this artifact particularly remarkable are the physical hints it preserves of the Egyptians' engineering methods, in both in carving and in transport. Evidence indicates they shaped and leveled the granite using dolerite hammerstones. To detach the obelisk from the bedrock, they reportedly drilled a sequence of small holes along the base and inserted dry wooden wedges, then soaked the wood so it would swell and fracture the stone along a controlled fault line. In 2005, archaeologists working at the Aswan quarry uncovered an unfinished obelisk, face carved directly into the rock, reinforcing the idea that this site was the production center for numerous iconic monuments, including Cleopatra's Needle in London, and even some of the stone blocks used for the pyramids of Giza. But why did this magnificent undertaking cease? Historical accounts point to a significant fracture that appeared in the granite, forcing the craftsmen to abandon the entire effort. Yet the tale may not stop at a single flaw. Some experts attribute the crack to human miscalculation or to naturally unstable rock in that part of the quarry. Others, more speculative, proposed that the project may have been halted by a dramatic event, perhaps an earthquake or a major political or societal crisis during Hatshepsut's reign. Some people even propose that this monument is a surviving trace of an advanced, forgotten civilization, with the obelisks imagined as cosmic transmitters, aligned with star systems. Though no scientific proof backs such claims, these theories persist, especially since researchers have observed that the obelisk was designed to resemble the Benben and the primeval mound in Egyptian creation myth, the place where the sun god Atum first stood to bring the world into existence. Another puzzle lies in the sheer magnitude of the endeavor. At approximately 1,200 tons, this obelisk would have been the heaviest block the Egyptians ever attempted to transport. How did they intend to move it more than 200 kilometers to Karnak when most Nile vessels could not withstand such immense weight? Some historical accounts say they used enormous wooden barges and relied on the swollen river during the annual flood, but no specific record describes the logistics for this particular obelisk. Certain historians believe Queen Hatshepsut's ambition may have exceeded the engineering capabilities of her era. Yet the fact that 3 sides were nearly completed proves the workers had come very close to success before the fatal fracture appeared. Could something more, a curse or a political upheaval, have brought everything to an abrupt end? The unfinished obelisk of Aswan stands as a monument to Egypt's daring, ingenuity, but also a powerful reminder that even the most advanced civilizations confronted their limits. Was the break in the granite merely a technical accident, or a warning from the gods? Colossal temple. Thousands of years ago, long before machines existed, an astonishing feat of architecture was carved directly out of living rock in India. Colossal temple, concealed within the Ellora cave complex, is not only a monumental achievement but also a profound mystery that challenges modern assumptions about what ancient people could do. Nestled in the Sahyadri hills of Maharashtra, India, Kailasa is the largest monolithic structure on Earth. Unlike the Egyptian pyramids, which were assembled from millions of individual stone blocks, this temple was sculpted from a single enormous basalt outcrop. Its scale exceeds twice that of the Parthenon in Athens, towering more than 30 meters high, stretching 300 meters in length, and spanning 175 meters in width, all enclosed within a U-shaped courtyard descending nearly 50 meters deep. What astonishes experts most is the construction method. The artisans began at the summit of the rock and excavated downward, a process completely opposite of ordinary architectural practice. Over 400,000 tons of stone were removed, using only basic hammers and chisels, resulting in a temple adorned with impossibly detailed carvings. Every surface of Kailasa is sculpted. Walls filled with depictions of Shiva, Vishnu, and other deities. One of the most extraordinary reliefs portrays the demon, King Ravana, attempting to lift Mount Kailash, the sacred abode of Shiva, a masterpiece of ancient Indian art. Archaeologists have also found over 30 million Sanskrit characters engraved into the rock, the vast majority still undeciphered. Could these inscriptions conceal a message from antiquity? Historians attribute the temple's construction to the 8th century reign of King Krishna, I of the Rashtrakuta dynasty. A local tradition recounts that a queen prayed to Shiva for her husband's recovery and vowed to fast until she could see the temple's shikara, its crown, completed. To fulfill her vow, an architect named Kokasa pledged to reveal the top within 1 week by carving from the summit downward. Whether legend or not, one fact is agreed upon. Kailasa temple was completed with astonishing speed in only 18 years. How could a monument of such enormous scale have been completed in so little time using the technology available during that era? Yet the mystery reaches even further. Some scholars argue that Kailasa could be far older than currently believed. Is it truly possible that a civilization more than 1,200 years ago achieved such precision using nothing but hammers and chisels? Certain daring theories insist that the temple may be the legacy of a forgotten advanced culture, or even involve technologies far beyond present understanding. Subtle evidence of drilling marks and near-perfectly linear cuts has led some to speculate about extraterrestrial intervention. Another hypothesis proposes that Kailasa was the outcome of massive collaboration between artisans across multiple regions. Archaeologists suggest that craftsmen from the Chalukya and Pallava dynasties may have contributed South Indian architectural influences to the structure. But even this theory fails to account for a crucial detail. There is no trace of large-scale construction equipment or nearby quarrying sites. Was the knowledge required for Kailasa passed down across generations, or was it lost forever along with its builders? Curiously, the temple came close to destruction. In the 17th century, the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb ordered 1,000 men to demolish it. After 3 long years, they managed only to chip a few surfaces and damage minor sculptures before abandoning the attempt. The density of the basalt and the structural integrity of the temple rendered the effort futile. Kailasa stands not only as proof of human ingenuity and relentless will, but perhaps as evidence of something even greater. And like countless ancient enigmas, Kailasa guards its secrets in silence, urging us to keep seeking the truth concealed within the stone. The Lost Library of Alexandria. In the very heart of Alexandria, a city founded by Alexander the Great around 330 BC, once stood the greatest intellectual center of the ancient world. The Library of Alexandria was established during the reign of Ptolemy Soter and reached its golden age under Ptolemy II Philadelphus. In the 3rd century BC, it formed part of the Ocean, the sanctuary of the Muses, where the era's greatest thinkers, poets, and scientists gathered. Historical estimates suggest the library stored between 200,000 and 700,000 papyrus scrolls, preserving the writings of Homer, Plato, Aristotle, and innumerable works from Greece, Persia, Egypt, and India. But it was far more than a storage place. The Mouseion was a thriving intellectual institution where Euclid established the foundations of geometry. Eratosthenes calculated Earth's circumference with astonishing accuracy, and Archimedes engineered inventions that transformed the world. What truly set the Library of Alexandria apart was not merely its vast collection, The Ptolemaic rulers dispatched agents across distant lands to acquire manuscripts, even seizing books from arriving ships so they could be copied before being returned. Its ranks included celebrated scholars such as Aristarchus of Samothrace, who refined and standardized the texts of Homer. The scrolls were systematically catalogued, translated into Greek, and stored within chambers paved with marble floors. Yet today, no physical remains of the library's structure survive. Our understanding comes only from scattered historical accounts. This raises the question, what ultimately destroyed this vast treasury of human knowledge? The fall of the Library of Alexandria is wrapped in mystery and disputed theories. While many imagine a single catastrophic blaze, the truth appears far more layered. One of the earliest suspected causes is Julius Caesar. In 48 BC, during his conflict with Pompey, Caesar ordered Egyptian ships in Alexandria's harbor to be set ablaze. The flames reportedly spread into the city, and according to some ancient writers, as many as 40,000 scrolls were lost. However, later historians such as Strabo, who visited Alexandria afterward, still described the library functioning, indicating it was not entirely obliterated. Another theory centers on the 4th century AD, when Christianity became the official faith of the Roman Empire. Emperor Theodosius I decreed the destruction of pagan temples, including the Serapeum in Alexandria, which housed an annex of the main library. A further claim accuses the Muslim conquest of 642 AD, with the story that General Amr ibn al-As ordered the scrolls burned as fuel for the city's bathhouses. Yet this tale appears only in Islamic writings from the 13th century, and many scholars dismiss it as a later invention. Most modern historians maintain that the library did not perish in one event, but slowly declined over centuries. From the 2nd century BC onward, the Ptolemaic dynasty weakened, cutting support for the institution. Warfare, political unrest, and Alexandria's fading prominence as a cultural center gradually led to its disappearance. What then was lost? We may never know, but many consider the library's fall one of the greatest intellectual tragedies in human history. Original works by Sappho, Euclid, or Aristotle may have vanished forever. Some believe lost manuscripts on astronomy, mathematics, or engineering could have accelerated scientific progress had they survived. Others suggest the library preserved texts from far older civilizations, even from legendary cultures now forgotten. But there is also hope that crucial works were copied and stored in other archives before the final decline. If those papyrus scrolls still existed, would our world today be more advanced? Or are their secrets merely hidden elsewhere, waiting to be uncovered? Roman dodecahedrons. Since the first discovery in 1739 at Aston in England, more than 130 Roman dodecahedrons have been unearthed across northwestern Europe, from Britain, France, and Germany to Hungary and Switzerland. Curiously, not one has ever been found in the city of Rome itself. Most are cast from bronze alloys and shaped as 12-sided geometric forms, each face a perfect pentagon, pierced at the center by a circular opening ranging from about 6 mm to 40 mm wide. At each corner, a small spherical knob protrudes outward, suggesting extremely careful craftsmanship. Their sizes vary from about the size of a golf ball to that of a grapefruit, weighing anywhere between 35 grams and over 1 kilogram. What makes these dodecahedrons truly remarkable is the level of technical mastery required to cast such complex objects in the 2nd to 4th centuries AD upon proof that they were not casual items. Many have been found alongside stashes of coins, indicating high value to their owners. Yet they do not appear to have been tools for everyday labor. So what were they? Countless theories have been offered, none definitively proven. One of the most widespread ideas is that they served religious or ceremonial roles, particularly within the Gallo-Roman world where Roman and Celtic cultures mingled. Some researchers think they were used in mystical or divinatory rituals when possibly kept hidden because Roman law under Christianity forbade magical practices. The discovery of a dodecahedron in the grave of a woman in Belgium and another near a mounted warrior statue in Norton, Disney gives further credibility to the ritual or spiritual theory. Could these objects have been tools for divine communication? Another proposal suggests they were precision instruments, perhaps for measuring distances in military campaigns or determining solar angles for agricultural timing, yet the fact that no two dodecahedrons share identical dimensions or hole sizes weakens this explanation. The mystery only deepens when we consider their total absence in Roman literature. Not a single surviving record or illustration mentions them. Were they so commonplace that no one bothered to document them? Or so esoteric and even forbidden that only a secret few were ever meant to know of their existence? Some researchers even suspect they were linked to outlawed rites, which could explain why they appear exclusively on the empire's periphery. Today, Roman dodecahedrons are scattered among museums across Europe, from the Lincoln Museum in England to the Gallo-Roman Museum in Belgium, each one a silent relic of knowledge the Roman Empire never passed on. Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, a young Bedouin shepherd searching for a lost goat near Qumran on the West Bank tossed a stone into a cave and heard pottery shatter. Inside were clay jars holding remarkably well-preserved scrolls made of parchment and papyrus. Explorations by archaeologists and Bedouins soon uncovered 11 caves around Qumran, yielding roughly 981 manuscripts, composed of more than 25,000 fragments, representing about 800 original works. These scrolls date from the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD, making them the earliest surviving copies of the Hebrew Bible and other sacred writings. The Dead Sea Scrolls fall into two major categories. About 40% are biblical texts, encompassing nearly every book of the Hebrew Bible. The rest are non-biblical, including about 30% sectarian works such as the Community Rule, the War Scroll, and commentaries on Habakkuk, along with 30% documents from the Second Temple era such as the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees. Among the most peculiar is the Copper Scroll, which lists 64 supposed hiding places of buried gold and silver treasures. But who authored these scrolls, not and why were they concealed? Many scholars attribute them to the Essenes, a Jewish ascetic community living near Qumran. Others believe they were manuscripts from Jerusalem's libraries, hidden in desperation during the Jewish revolt against Rome that led to the destruction of the Second Temple. Perhaps the scrolls were deliberately concealed to shield sacred knowledge from invaders. What makes the Dead Sea Scrolls extraordinary is how they transform our understanding of biblical history. Before their discovery, the oldest complete Hebrew Bible was the Leningrad Codex from 1008 AD. The scrolls are 1,000 years older, yet astonishingly consistent with the later Masoretic text, proving how faithfully Jewish scribes preserve scripture. But the mystery goes further. Some daring theories suggest these writings may contain concealed doctrines, suppressed teachings, or prophetic revelations considered too dangerous for the public. Others suspect they may be connected to esoteric Jewish groups that influenced early Christianity, including possible links to John the Baptist, whose purification rituals resemble those of the Essenes. Why then were these scrolls sealed inside jars? Was this purely protection from war, or were they intended only for a chosen elite? No historical account explains the act, and the caves show no signs of habitation. Some believe it may relate to the Jewish tradition of Genghis, preserving sacred but worn texts by burying them to prevent desecration. Moving stones of Death Valley. Deep in the harsh wilderness of Death Valley, a baffling phenomenon has mystified observers for over a century. Upon the sun-baked floor of Racetrack Playa, a desolate dried lake bed on the California-Nevada border within Death Valley National Park, and stones silently glide across the flat, cracked surface, carving trails behind them as if endowed with motion. No one has ever witnessed them move. Yet the serpentine tracks etched into the hardened earth prove beyond doubt that they do. Some stones leave perfectly straight lines, others curve, zigzag, or abruptly change direction, as though the researchers originally anticipated they would need to wait 5 to 10 years before seeing any outcome. However, only 2 years afterward, in December of 2013, they actually observed over 60 stones gliding across the playa, cutting new tracks directly in front of them. They learned that the stone's motion depended on a highly uncommon combination of factors. Rain first had to fall, gathering into a shallow film of water around 7 to 10 centimeters deep, but never deep enough to completely drown the rocks. Overnight, temperatures dropped below freezing, producing a fragile ice sheet, roughly 3 to 6 millimeters thick, what the team referred to as window pane. Once the morning sun rose, the surface ice started to thaw, subtly pushing the stones onward. During the winter of 2013-2014, one stone was documented moving 224 meters, and the trails it left behind can persist for 3 or 4 years before weather conditions erase them entirely. This explanation eliminated previous proposals such as hurricane level, gusts up to 150 kilometers per hour, slippery algae layers. It also rejected more eccentric suggestions, Earth's magnetic field, supernatural forces, or even alien involvement. Yet despite the core mystery being resolved, unanswered questions linger. Why do not all stones move simultaneously? Can the heaviest boulders, weighing as much as 320 kilograms, travel under the same circumstances? Racetrack. Playa serves as a testament to nature's continued ability to generate marvels. Still, have we genuinely uncovered every truth about these wandering rocks? Lost labyrinth of Egypt, more than 2,500 years in the past. A Greek historian stood before a spectacle he claimed exceeded even the grandeur of Egypt's pyramids. He described an immense subterranean complex containing thousands of chambers, their walls filled with hieroglyphs and murals, hidden beneath the sands of the desert. This was the Hawara labyrinth. Yet with time, the labyrinth disappeared from view, slipping into myth and often dismissed as pure legend. Then in 2008, while archaeologists were digging close to the pyramid of Hawara, a labyrinth materialized before them. Was this the long-lost maze? Situated in the Fayum oasis, roughly 90 kilometers south of Cairo, the Hawara labyrinth is thought to rest near the pyramid of Pharaoh Amenemhat III, the final powerful ruler of Egypt's 12th dynasty. As recounted by the historian Herodotus, who asserted he personally saw it in the 5th century. BKE, the labyrinth, reportedly consisted of 2 levels, containing nearly 3,000 rooms, with about 1,500 of them below ground. He described 12 roofed courtyards and 6 positioned to the north and 6 to the south, joined together through twisting hallways that led to rooms, corridors, and masterfully sculpted pillars. The interior walls were adorned with hieroglyphs and artwork. Each courtyard was surrounded by perfectly fitted white stone columns. Herodotus claimed, even if all the accomplishments of the Greeks were combined, they would still not match the labor and cost of this labyrinth. Yet, he was not the only witness. Classical writers such as Strabo, Theodorus Diodorus Siculus, and Manetho also referenced an enormous structure at Hawara, with certain individuals asserting that they had personally explored parts of it. Curiously, the Egyptians themselves did not refer to it as a labyrinth. To them, it may have functioned as an immense mortuary complex crafted to safeguard kings and sacred crocodiles. Herodotus recounted that the guardian refused to show him the lower levels, claiming they held the tombs of the rulers who constructed the labyrinth along with the remains of holy crocodiles. The entire structure was enclosed by a wall measuring approximately 385 meters in length and 158 meters in width, surpassing both the Karnak and Luxor temples in size. However, the enigma did not conclude with its rediscovery. After the 2008 revelation, Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities ordered the findings to remain undisclosed, citing reasons linked to national security. Louis de Cordier, the lead researcher of the Madaha expedition, waited 2 full years to obtain approval to release the information, but never received a reply. Ultimately, he launched a website to reveal the discovery to the public. Since that moment, no significant excavation has occurred, and access to Hawara remains heavily restricted. Why would a breakthrough capable of reshaping our understanding of history be deliberately concealed? Could this labyrinth be hiding knowledge that officials prefer to keep hidden? One proposal suggests that the Hawara labyrinth was a funerary complex intended to protect the burial place of Amenemhat III and his daughter. Historians believe it could contain priceless treasures, artifacts and records preserving knowledge of ancient civilizations, perhaps even cultures, predating documented history. Some ancient writings assert that the labyrinth was engineered specifically to disorient intruders and shield the tomb from looters. However, doubts persist regarding the magnificence Herodotus described. Certain scholars argue that historians, such as Pliny, may have exaggerated or based their accounts on flawed testimonies, or possibly never witnessed the structure firsthand. Additionally, across thousands of years, the Fayum region has been transformed by repeated floods and quarrying, which may have damaged or hidden much of the labyrinth beneath Nile sediment. Today, the Hawara labyrinth continues to be an unresolved mystery. Although radar has verified the presence of chambers beneath the surface, no one is allowed to enter or investigate them. Thank you for staying until the end of this video. If these mysteries sparked your curiosity, share your opinions with us down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you never miss any of our future explorations. We'll catch you in the next video.